Hey guys, welcome back to the Deepwoken guide, where today we're going to be going over every bell in Deepwoken. I'll do them in alphabetical order, followed by the legendary bells, with timestamps at the bottom, so you can skip to a bell if you need to refer back to the video. Starting with some background information though, bells are officially called resonances in-game, though the nickname derives from the bell that you get like on your waist when you obtain it. And its ability can be activated with C. I'm going to be saying that throughout the video, just for reference, but you can change it in the settings if you so wish. Bells are actually obtained through a hidden bell progress bar that you have while progressing, and it increases through 3 routes. There's an NPC near Starswept to see how close you are to your bell and your path that you have, but that's basically irrelevant now. Kill Chaser or Ferryman a few times and the bar will be filled really quickly. Me personally, I deep bound progress, and during the progression I'll kill Chaser once for unbounds, maybe another time, and I'm guaranteed bell by power 20, so it really isn't that hard. It used to be a way bigger deal back in verse 1, maybe early verse 2. Once you have this bar filled though, you can die anywhere in the depths, layer 1 or layer 2, and you could even have late hook to prevent the risk of wiping. Every bell has hidden randomized stats that allow most people to have a unique bell from one another. Each bell also has a corrupted variant, which gives increased points to allocate in these hidden stats, and some even have a unique effect. But using this corrupted variant causes one of 4 downsides that you'll roll on random upon getting your resonance. 10% wither on your HP bar, a 40 sanity loss, 7% of your HP, which can't kill you, so if you're under 7%, you won't die, and 15% of your blood bar drained. There used to be a self-burn downside that was removed from every bell except one, but I'll get into that later. And just as a heads up, I will be describing every variant for each bell, but I only have footage for some of them, as I didn't get them while we rolling. Starting with the first bell, we have Blood Scourge, widely known as Reaper. This bell, when activated, creates an area in which all knocked players or NPCs will be insta-gripped. For each person the user insta-grips, they will heal a certain amount. This bell has 2 variants, one where you cast the bell forward, and the second where you stand in place to cast it. It should be noted that the thrown one cannot be cancelled. When corrupted, you can hold down C to charge it up, and every player gripped by it will be sent to the depths, regardless of their health bar status. The hidden stats for this bell are range, which determines the AoE, but bigger AoE means slower animation, and healing, which determines the amount of healing you get from gripping people. Next up, we have Chorus Divide. When activated, you wind up 2 giant beams, then unleash them and spin 270 degrees. The beam changes color and inflicts a different status effect depending on your highest element. The bell itself actually has 5 attunement scaling, which caps at 12 damage per tick. If you have no attunement, there will be thunder by default. And if you have the oath Saint Sworn, the second beam will actually change depending on your saint stance. When corrupted, the beams become unblockable, but the windup is longer and you spin slower. The hidden stats for this bell are windup speed and rotation speed, both of which are pretty self-explanatory. Next up, we have Crazy Slots. When activated, you'll pull out one of 6 weapons at random, while keeping whatever stars or enchant that's on your base weapon. The weapon you pull out is influenced by your weapon stats, which also affects how much damage the weapon does. Activating your bell with one of these weapons out will activate a special ability unique to each weapon, then instantly remove it, bringing you back to your base weapon. Even if you do not use this ability, your weapon will dematerialize after some time. When corrupted, the cooldown is halved, your stats have more influence on the weapon you pull, the weapon will stay out longer, and the weapon will be purple instead of gold. The hidden stats for this bell are weight, which again determines the influence your stats have on the weapon you pull, and time, which determines the amount of time until your weapon dematerializes. The lowest is 30 seconds, and the highest is 150 seconds. Next up, we have Gravity Field. Activating this will create, as the name suggests, a gravity field around you, but it decreases in size over time. This can be removed early by activating the bell again, and if someone tries to leave the area while it's activated, they'll be ragdolled and flung back. There are 2 variants to this: high gravity, which makes you unable to jump, and low gravity, which makes you jump higher. When corrupted, the user is no longer affected by the field and can move freely, as if it weren't there. In return, the field lasts half as long, and the low gravity variant allows players to escape. The hidden stats for this bell are size, which is the size of the area it affects, and pulling gravity, how much gravity someone gets flung with when entering or trying to leave. Next up, we have Jar of Souls. Now this spell actually has an activation requirement, which is to obtain souls from humanoid NPCs and golems. You have a hidden meter, which increases when gripping said NPCs. Golems and higher tier NPCs fill it up faster, while lower tiers like Arisia bandits fill it up slower. This spell has two variants. A beam variant that requires you to hold down C using your bar as you hold it, or a burst variant that uses all the souls in a singular beam at once when you press C. When corrupted, you just gain more points towards your hidden stats. There's no unique effect. The hidden stats for this spell are Refill Multiplier, which determines how easy it is to fill up your soul meter, Auto Execute, which determines if your beam can auto execute when having at least one soul, and Range, which determines the range of your beam. Next up, we have Paralytic Dust. On activation, you throw out a dust cloud that dazes and ragdolls anybody hit, very similar to Pocket Sand from Rogue Lineage. Anybody ragdolled can't do anything, but they get a 90% damage reduction for the duration. If the ragdolled players hit 3 times, they will get up before their timer's over. This spell has two variants, one which is just as I described, and a second one that affects you and everyone in the 360 around you, not just in front of you. It also heals you while you're ragdolled. When corrupted, everybody affected by the bell will gain blindness for 5 seconds. This spell is pretty simple, with no hidden stats to allocate. Next up is Payback, more widely known as Counter. On activation, any damage taken is reflected back to the attacker. When corrupted, you get 50% lifesteal for the counter damage, capping at 20% max HP per use. Instead of hidden stats, the spell actually has 4 variants. An instant variant that immediately reflects the damage, stun, and status effects as soon as you're hit. A sniper variant that multiplies and reflects the damage and fires a thin beam dealing the multiplied damage instantly. The delayed variant, which multiplies and reflects all damage taken with no beam, just like the instant variant, but the multiplied damage is dealt after the bell is over. The continuous variant, which multiplies and reflects the damage with a beam, but the damage is done over multiple ticks of constant damage. Next up, we have Portals, also known as Yoru Bell. On activation, you summon a white portal and become invisible for a period of time. When invisible, you get increased walk speed, and you are invincible to all damage except insta-kills, like the orbs in Layer 2. Any interactions like attacking or picking up a player will force you out of your portal early. When corrupted, you can make allied players invisible too, while also picking up people and objects. But anything you pick up will not be invisible. There are 2 variants. The normal portal, as I described, and one where you dive in on activation and leap out when it ends, which does damage. The hidden stats for this spell are the duration, the speed, and whether or not you leave footprints behind when you're invisible. Next up, we have Preservation. This spell has the exact same sound effects, animations, and even variants as Blood Scourge, the difference being its visual effects and ability. When activated, it will capture any knocked player in its radius into a golden bubble, carrying them around behind you and instantly unknocking them. While in the bubble, you're immune to being carried, gripped, or auto-executed, but the bubble is breakable by opponents. The user can choose when to break the bubble, but it'll also break after a certain amount of time, or when the user starts gripping someone else. When corrupted, any attacks in the bubble will be auto-parried. The hidden stats for this spell are Energy, which determines how long the shield lasts for, and Activation Size, which determines the radius of the initial AoE. Next up, we have Resurrection, or just Resbell for short. On activation, mark any player, including yourself if you hold down C, with a star, giving them a very small speed boost. If a player is knocked while marked, they'll rise in the sky and regen back to 40% HP. This spell actually has 3 variants. The first one teleports the user to the resurrected player when it's triggered. The second variant allows you to resurrect already knocked opponents. And the third variant gives the marked person an auto-execute protection against NPCs. When corrupted, you just gain more points towards your hidden stats. There's no unique effect. The hidden stats for this bell are range, which determines how far you can mark a target from, and duration, determines how long a target is marked. Next up, we have Run It Back, also known as Phoenix Bell, since it's literally Phoenix's ult from Valorant. It's also named the same thing. On activation, you'll leave an attunement-based mark where you activated it, and become immune to damage for a few seconds. After taking too much damage, or when your time is up, return back to the mark. The variants for this bell are really just the marks, which are completely random and not correlated with your build. I didn't know this before recording, but the Flame Charm mark will burn players nearby on activation. Thundercall will shock them, and Shadowcast will steal their ether. When corrupted, you also gain 5 seconds of hyper armor on activation. It should be noted that when you're using the bell, like in the damage immune state, all forms of healing are greatly reduced, basically 0, and any damage you do is reduced by 25%. The hidden stats for this bell are duration, which determines how long until you automatically return to your mark, damage tolerance, which determines how much damage you can take until you return back early, and cooldown. Yes, your cooldown is determined by luck upon obtaining your bell. Next up, we have Sacred Field. On activation, you summon a circular field around you, granting damage reduction. The variants to this are actually what types of damage reduction you get. The possibilities are physical resistance, elemental resistance, or, I didn't know this before recording, sanity resistance. Now the thing about these variants is that they're not mutually exclusive to each other. You can roll 2 or even all 3 of them. When corrupted, the field AoE follows the user slowly, usually lagging behind. The hidden stats of this spell are color, which determines what color the field is. This is purely cosmetic and has no effect on the actual bell itself. Resistance strength, which determines how strong of a resistance you have. This rolls individually for each type of resistance, so you can have a high physical resistance but a low mantra resistance. Range, which determines how large the field AoE is. Duration, which determines how long it lasts. And cooldown, which determines the cooldown of the bell. Next up, we have Shard Bow. On activation, leap backwards and fire explosive arrows out of a white bow onto your cursor. There are 2 variants to this. The first one shoots out 1 arrow, does good damage and decent posture. The second variant shoots 3 arrows, which do half the damage and posture, which is a net gain if you hit all 3 somehow. On top of that, each arrow you shoot out of the 3 arrow variant will bring you even higher into the air. When corrupted, do more damage and posture, while also proccing white flames on hit with the bow. When getting Corrupt Shard Bow, the downside will always, to my knowledge and from the footage I've seen, be self-burn, where you ignite yourself with white flames as well. All white flames do slightly less damage than regular burn, but tick 25% faster. The hidden stats for this bell are jump distance, which determines how far up you leap when you cast it, range, which determines how far the arrow will travel before it explodes, and radius, determines how big the arrow's explosion is. Next up, we have Skeleton Key. On activation, summon a wall. Yeah, that's it. You put down a wall. Anything that touches the wall will be pushed back. By pressing C again while facing the wall, you will push it forward and cause it to disappear. You can summon multiple walls, but keep in mind that each one is on a timer before it disappears by itself, and they can also be broken by enemies. There are 2 variants, the normal wall and the spiked wall. The spiked wall does damage to enemies when it's pushed. When corrupted, it just makes the walls over 5 times bigger. The hidden stats for this spell are amount, which determines the max amount of walls you can have out at once, duration, how fast a wall takes to spawn, wall durability, how many hits the wall can take before breaking, and range. This one's untested, but there might be points towards how far the wall can be pushed. Next up, we have Smite. On activation, multiple orbs will appear around your head. The orbs will periodically fire at the closest enemy with no input needed, dealing 10 true damage on hit. When corrupted, the Smite orbs will turn red and black, with no other special effects besides the extra allocation in the hidden stats. Speaking of which, the hidden stats for this spell are pretty simple. Amount, which is the number of orbs that spawn upon use, along with the speed, damage, and range of the orbs. Next up, we have Smokescreen. On activation, go invisible and summon a smoke cloud around you. Unlike portals, you are not immune to damage, but mobs will lose aggro, except for in Depth's Trial. Attacking or moving too far from the smoke will make you visible again, but even while doing nothing, you'll still become visible after a set amount of time. When corrupted, you can press C again while invisible to teleport backwards and create another cloud of smoke. The hidden stats for this spell are smoke duration, smoke size, the amount of clouds you can create, which is only for the corrupted version, and the teleport distance, which is also only for the corrupted version. For our last common bell, we have Wind Up, which is just that one dude's ability from Hunter x Hunter. Activating that bell will cause you to charge your arm up. You can do this until you're at max charges, which is randomized upon getting your bell. When out of combat, however, your max will always be 2. When you attack after charging up, the attack will blast your opponent, doing more damage and ragdolling them. This does not make your attack unparryable or unblockable, but it does do a lot more posture. Hitting a parry or a dodging opponent with a charge attack will still consume the charge. After a certain amount of charges, your attack can auto-execute. When corrupted, the amount of charges needed to auto-execute is always 1. The hidden stats for this spell are the charge amount, which determines how many charges you can do, can be between 1 and 5, and charge speed, determines how short the charge animation is. For our first legendary bell, we have Dimensional Travel, more widely known as Kamui. When used, summon a portal to the Interstice, which allows you to traverse the map quickly. Think of it like the Nether in Minecraft, where if you travel 1 block in the Nether, it's like traveling 8 blocks in Overworld. You cannot use this spell in Etch's Palace, Voidheart, Guild Bases, the Depth's Trial, or any instance server, such as Layer 2. When in the Interstice, you can press C to check where your exact position would be in the Overworld. Then press C again to summon a portal there. Or just move if you want to cancel it. Jumping through any of the holes or getting knocked in the Interstice will teleport you to the correlating Overworld position. The 2 variants for this spell are just whether or not you can use it while in combat. When corrupted, your Kamui will always be the combat variant with more stat points put into the hidden stats. Speaking of which, the stats are capacity, which is how many people can go through your portal before it closes early, and travel speed, how fast movement in the Interstice translates to the Overworld. This can be between 1.3 times and 6.7 times. For our last legendary bell, we have Teleportation, TP bell for short. For this, I actually have no footage because I have 3 Kamuis and no Teleportation bell. Last time I had one was like early verse 2, I think. Yeah, on my like first Railblade build. I don't want to talk about it. But anyways, for this bell, you must double tap C to set a waypoint. The waypoint is always visible and stays throughout server hops. Pressing C while looking at a waypoint allows you to teleport to the waypoint after a wind up that scales with how far the waypoint is. You have a certain cap of waypoints per luminant, and attempting to go over this will replace your oldest waypoint. Teleporting to a waypoint causes it to disappear, so just replace it when you teleport. 2 things to note are that it cannot be used in instant servers, and it has double the cooldown if it's used in combat. The 2 variants for this spell are just whether or not you can set a marker on players, but these have a limited range and nobody uses them. When corrupted, gain default teleport spots that do not contribute to your max waypoints, like Gate from Rogue Lineage. The hidden stats for this spell are max markers, which determines how many waypoints you can place per luminant, between 1 and 7. Charge speed, which determines how short the wind-up scaling is in respect to distance when teleporting. And lastly, travel speed, determines how fast you TP after the wind-up. Hey guys, thank you for watching till the end. I am so sorry for not uploading in a while. I haven't uploaded since January, or I haven't uploaded a Deepwoken video since January. I uploaded a Roblox video since then, and I'm talking low, it's 4:40 a.m. I'm in my dorm, and this is my longest video yet. I hope you guys enjoyed it, okay? If you guys want updates on future videos, join the Discord. I'm gonna try to upload every 2 weeks on Fridays, and yeah, that's about it. See you guys in the next one.